Hey guys, Elizabeth Quinn here again with Elizabeth's Scenes and Scents, and welcome back to my channel. Please don't forget to check out my website, which is waftingwonderfulwax.scentsy.us, where I am Liz Quinn, your certified Scentsy consultant. And all of the new release bars that we will be discussing warm reviews on today will be available August the 1st, 2022 on my website. If you do not have a consultant, I would love to be your place for all things Scentsy. So anyway, let's get started. I have all sorts of thoughts for you today on warm reviews. And before we actually get into me warming, I did have an interesting test pool in town this weekend because my parents celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary on Friday night. My bars came on Saturday and I still had family in town, so I brought over this bucket for cold sniff reviews from everyone, and I found it very interesting when I then did warm tests for myself later in the day and then the next couple days after, the differences between warm and cold sniff for me and what seemed to be crowd pleasers for all sorts of people. My father, who's in his 80s, my brother, who's a few years younger than me, my mom, my sister-in-law, who's not like really a scent person all that much, but they were also sweet, and they allowed me to test their noses for reviews. So this is what we came up with out of a test pool of the 8 people that voted. Velvet Moon came in with 6 out of 8 as far as people really liked the scent on cold sniff. Then Blackberry Spice came in at 5 out of 8, Sips of Cider at 4, Huckleberry Hideaway at 4, White Amber and Silk at 3, Frosted Vanilla at 3, Falling Apples at 3, Cranapple Crumble at 2, Black Currant and Plum at 2 or 3, and then the Perfect Day, only my husband stood up for that one, and he thought that was actually his favorite on cold sniff. So then when it came to really strongly disliking on cold sniff, the Perfect Day turned a lot of people off, and then for some people, either the Blackberry Spice was really loved or really disliked. So some people really didn't care for Blackberry Spice on cold sniff, and I think that just has to do with preference. So that honestly didn't hold up. Some of them did for me when it comes to warm reviews. And this is, of course, my personal warm review, and I always try to kind of pull my daughters in on what's going on in their rooms and things like that. But I have tried to match all of the current new releases with other bars that we've had in the past that have some similar notes. And some of them are very hard because we do have some really unique stuff here this time, but I have done my best to try to give you guys a frame of reference. I have some other notes, because most of the time I don't make notes when I'm doing just, what I've been warming or giving you guys recommendations on things. But when it comes to brand new smells that we have not smelled before, I really try to get my thoughts into a crystallized, potent form so that I'm helpful to you and I'm not just giving you emotions. That's what the first sniffs video is for, and I apologize that some of you have said that you've had trouble with it not loading. So I'm going to get my daughter to look at that, and I may even just have to reboot the same video twice, because I do not want to lose all the wonderful comments and things that you guys took the time to put down. So just know that we're working on fixing it. So here we go into warm reviews, and it's been about 48 hours worth of warming. Sometimes I have thrown these in one room and then gone to do another room, and some of them I've only done in one place, but it was very, very fun, and a lot of them turned out to be very delightful. So I'm going to start on the softer end of the scale. Now, there was absolutely nothing here that when I put it in the warmer, I really disliked it. But some of them seem to have better performance. Some of them are going to need to go in specific zones. So the least successful for me, not on scent appeal. Scent appeal was quite high. I would say that my White Amber and Silk was like a 7 to 8 out of 10 when it comes to scent appeal. But the problem is it's incredibly light. And I wondered in the clam what would happen when we warm this. I don't know if this one needs to sit. I don't know if it needs to be fall, but I put 2 cubes in my daughter's Marrakesh warmer in her bedroom, which is completely separate from the rest of the house. And it didn't do a lot. It was pretty, but you really had to get up close to the warmer. So that was a little bit of a disappointment for me. So I wanted to show you the other bars that I thought you might think of when you're trying to read this description and then you can't wait to get your hands on them in a couple weeks. So Cozy Cardigan is stronger. Now Cozy Cardigan is only a medium, but it does share some of that wonderful sultry, like cuddly bedroom scent. But Cozy Cardigan is an excellent performer. It stays at a medium level for 2 or 3 days in a bedroom and for 1 to 2 days out in the open, whereas this White Amber and Silk, it has more cotton, It's a little bit more laundry, but they do share some of that nice warm muskiness. But this white amber and silk, I really, really hope will cure better because the scent is lovely. I hope some of you get better throw than I did because it was the worst of all of them. And then the white amber antique, these two, the white amber and silk and the white amber antique, I think that they might be very complementary in different spaces, but the white amber antique is like 10 times stronger. And this is a masculine bar. This is a nice, woody, woodsy, I think rather summery masculine men's cologne. It's gorgeous. I do think it shares a couple of notes, not a lot, with this white amber and silk. And if this white amber and silk were stronger, I think these would be beautiful in different parts of the house together. I just think the white amber antique is going to completely bulldoze the white amber and silk. So, like I said, I hope that maybe in 3 to 6 months I can revisit this scent and it will have grown in strength. That is the only downer for this. It was very, very pretty smell. So if you are scent sensitive and you like really light smells and you do tend to like laundry, but all of them are too strong, this might be perfect for you. All right, now the next one was the most popular on Cold Sniff, and I'll tell you, I absolutely love the scent of Velvet Moon, but I did find it to be reasonably light. I put 2 cubes in my Desert Bloom warmer in my bedroom, which is like best place to set a scent up for success. It's gorgeous. It is somewhat like Luna as far as strength and throw. These two are together in the new catalog, the only ones that are in floral. Luna is far more feminine. So Velvet Moon is by no means masculine cologne, but compared to Luna, it's more suede-y, musky, buttery, and that is the best thing I could tell you is that this thing is like a really light suede scent to my nose. It's really beautiful, but it is one where when you walk into the room, you smell it, but 5 minutes later you go nose blind. So I had it, it's been probably 12 to 14 hours now in my Desert Bloom warmer. I don't really smell it a lot when I come in and out of the room, unfortunately. So again, gorgeous scent, like scent appeal so high. Everyone went crazy over this one at the test zone at my mom's house. But it's not for me a great performer. Like, it's not terrible. I would definitely use it in the bedroom. I would definitely reorder it, but I think it would get totally lost in an open space for sure, and like a semi-enclosed space, like an office or something that's off of a big room might be your best bet. But Velvet Moon is gorgeous. And again, if you're scent sensitive and you need lighter scents, both of those would be excellent. So now let's move on to one of the wild card scents. This one, I really did not know what to think about Huckleberry Hideaway. I mean, it's got this boatload of crazy notes. Let me grab the scent notes that I found on these little cards. Because the first two, it really was pretty straightforward that you really enjoyed the scent and you didn't have to think too hard about it. Those two were beautiful even though they were very light. But this one is complex. So where did it go? So the Huckleberry Hideaway has sycamore and eucalyptus and violet and pinecone and whitewoods and vanilla and huckleberry and coconut. That's a lot of stuff. And it is a scent that actually half of the people that smelled it on Cold Sniff thought it would be great, whereas the other half were like, yeah, no, I don't like that. It seems sharper than it actually is when you warm it. So that I will tell you. If you're afraid of the sharpness in this bar, it mellows out a good bit, or at least it did in my house, on warm. And then I think I'm out of Huckleberry and Clementine. Couldn't find a clam. I just melted that last week. It was like crazy strong. This Huckleberry Hideaway is more mellow than that. It's still a pretty good, like medium strong performer, but it's not going to blow you out of the house like Huckleberry and Clementine did. And then the old Huckleberry Wreath, which has sweetness, and the Huckleberry, this is my favorite Huckleberry scent that Scentsy ever made, which is the Huckleberry Wreath. Beautiful. It has like just fir and huckleberry. It's a very November, December, January, February smell. Beautiful. Now this Huckleberry Hideaway is more woodsy. So I think this would be really nice like August through November, honestly. And it's good. It is unique. It has a huckleberry, but it's not as smooth and as sweet as Huckleberry and Clementine's Huckleberry or what's in the Huckleberry Wreath, because it has this pine cone, the sycamore, this eucalyptus with it. So it's like woodsy huckleberry, and it's really cool. I actually thought it was very nice. I would say on a scale of 0 to 10, probably a 7 for me on appeal, and probably a 7 or an 8 on throw. It was a good, solid performer. I think I will probably order another bar. It's really nice. It's just woodsy huckleberry, which we have never gotten before. So, that is that. So that was good. Okay, now the next one is the bakery bar. And this bar I can see being incredibly divisive amongst Scentsy people. This is interesting. I really like it. My younger daughter, who is the bakery person in our family, she was disappointed in it. I was not really disappointed. I just find it to be an odd prioritizing of scent notes. That's the best way I could describe this. Because this has apple and cranberry and brown sugar and cinnamon and whipped cream and vanilla. But it's called Cran-Apple Crumble, so you think you're going to be getting a really nice apple cranberry, like a crisp or a crumble, right, with some bakery on top. And what you get the most of is the brown sugar, the whipped cream, and the vanilla, and then the apple and the cranberry, they're kind of there, they're kind of not. I smelled more apple today when I actually put it in my kitchen. I do believe this is a kitchen-appropriate scent, but it is confusing as far as what I think people will want out of it and what they're going to get. Kind of like the flip side of buckleberry. Like buckleberry, you get all berries and almost no bakery. And you expect to get bakery in the word buckleberry. With this one, you're going to get all those base notes. You're going to get lots of brown sugar, you're going to get whipped cream, you're going to get vanilla, and then you're going to kind of find the apple and the cranberry in it. At least that's my experience smelting this. So if this was a medium creamy brown bar, and it was something, I don't even know what a good title would be, but something that focuses more on the brown sugar, the vanilla, and the whipped cream, and then there's just like a kiss of fruit, totally accurate. I just think people are going to have a hard time with the packaging, the color, the name, and the prioritization that Scentsy put on the notes when they made the formula. Otherwise, it's a very nice bakery bar, and I do think that people that like bakery will enjoy it. And what's weird for me is one of the things I get out of this, I guess it's the apple and the cranberry, is almost like a molasses note. It's not super heavy, but it's there, almost like you're making molasses cookies, the cookie dough. That I find in this bar, which is what I was trying to pinpoint the other day when I said it reminds me of baking at my mom's house. So, will I buy another bar? Absolutely. Will I enjoy it this fall? Absolutely. I just think people are going to find it weird when they're trying to put together all the mental parts of the packaging and the marketing for this. So, does it smell like anything else that we've got? So, I went through all of my stuff. So, another weird apple bar, which this does not really smell like, I'm not trying to say it does, was apple s'mores. So, I just wanted to, because this is another weird bar, I wanted to smell these side by side. Yeah, okay, they're very different, but as far as what people expect to get out of it, you might find some similarities in them becoming polarizing, that some people love apple s'mores and some people hate it. And I think we may find the same thing with this Cran-Apple Crumble. I also pulled out a bar of oats and honey that my daughter had been hiding in her room. And this one is almost all oat. It's a lot more like your oats and honey with a little bit of apple in the background. So this one to me is appropriately colored and packaged for the experience you get. Whereas if something similar was done with this one, I think you'd be better prepared. Do they smell alike? No. There's a lot more oat in this than there is crumble in the Cran-Apple Crumble. But it is by no means a bad bar. And if you are a bakery lover, if you want a warm, room-filling scent, because it is a good, probably 7 to 8 out of 10 on throw. And for me, the scent appeal is probably an 8. It's a beautiful bar. So that is my thought on that. Now we're going to go to the strangest bar in the bunch. Thankfully, I'm warm. I really ended up liking it, and that is the Perfect Day. So, this Perfect Day, let me grab the scent notes for this, because it's crazy what they put in this thing. It is lime, pear, pineapple margarita, mandarin, pear brandy, syrup, caramel, vanilla, clove, and bourbon. And as you warm it, you definitely do get the syrup and the bourbon. And you get a really warm, inviting early fall scent. I do really like it. So I had to order some more cocoa lime because I guess I'm out. I couldn't find any bars. So all I've got is my tester, unfortunately. But I'm telling you what, the top notes, you definitely get pear, but there are some similarities with the lime and the lightness of cocoa lime and this Perfect Day. So then if you go deeper into the notes, I've got my Appletini Splash here. Appletini Splash is very apple and nashi pear and is very spring. And Perfect Day has some similarities to Appletini Splash. It lacks that bright greenness and that springy sweetness, which it should. It's a fall bar, right? So it's like deeper. If I had to choose between the two, I would absolutely pick the Perfect Day because it is a very nice pear scent. I feel like it's got more depth than the Appletini Splash, but I've loved Appletini Splash. I'm not complaining about it, but this one is really, really nice. I will probably order one, maybe even 2 more bars because I want to melt this a lot. There's a lot there to experience in that particular bar. I was very pleased with it. And then just to answer people's question, is it anything like honey pear cider? No, it's not. This is a fall bar, like absolutely a fall bar, like September, October, November. This is a transition bar, early fall, late summer kind of a bar, much brighter when you add that lime and that pineapple margarita and the mandarin. But it's really nice. So I think this will be fun to see what people think about it, how they react to it. It's really a cool bar. I honestly think, like, for me, it's like a scent appeal, 8 out of 10, throw 7 to 8 out of 10. Very pleasant. So I will be reordering that for sure. Okay, now we get into a bar where I have like 7 other bars to compare it to here on the table. So I'm sorry, but this is Sips of Cider. Now, this Sips of Cider is really nice. My problem is that I have so many other citrus bars that if I didn't have all these other options, I would probably be absolutely head over heels in love with this. I'm just spoiled rotten with so many other things. So let's see what we got here. It is somewhat like Rise and Sunshine. Now, Rise and Sunshine is much more summery. This one's lighter. This one smells the most to me like an orange Tic Tac. And it's got the cherry, and it's supposed to be summery. Another one that people have been comparing it to is the Mulled Cider and Spice. And the Mulled Cider and Spice is much warmer and richer, feels more Christmas specific, which is what it's supposed to. And I love Mulled Cider and Spice. This is fabulous. So this Sips of Cider is flatter. It's not as sweet, it's not as sparkly, it's not as holiday-ish. Okay, let's keep going. So one of the ones that I really wanted to compare it to was the spiced grapefruit. And there are definite similarities between these two as far as the level of citrus versus spice. But the Sips of Cider is flatter because when you are dealing with blood orange, most of the time that scent as opposed to navel orange or clementine or most of the other like oranges, blood orange is more bitter. So I couldn't believe I still had this. My daughter had it hiding in her room. Half of a bar of blood orange spice. What is Sips of Cider the most like? And now I know half of you are going to be hooray and half of you are going to groan. It's the most like blood orange spice Sips of Cider is. But before you throw Rotten Tomatoes at me because you didn't like blood orange spice, blood orange spice has this bitter quality that I just couldn't get over. I do not like it. And some people love it. I got bitter oranges and bubblegum out of this. Couldn't stand it. It's hanging around because my daughter likes it. The Sips of Cider is just enough softer, just enough more orange and rounded because it has a lot of different citrus. Let me read the scent notes again on this. This is supposed to have lemon, grapefruit, lime, blood orange, apple juice, cranberry, ginger, cardamom, and cinnamon stick. And I do believe that's all in there. As far as longevity, this bar was a good medium strong at first, and then it ticked down to a medium, and then a medium light. But it was very, very nice in the house the whole time it was here. I think it would be very company worthy, very, very pleasant. I really, really liked it in the house. It's just that this bar, Mandarin Moon, is like the absolute best spiced orange harvest scent you could ever ask for. So it kind of puts Sips of Cider to shame for me because this is warm and sweet, whereas the other one is a little bit more flat. There's something in the Sips of Cider that if you are a total Sunkissed citrus devotee, I bet you're going to love it because it's that mixture of different citrus that for me comes off a little bit flat. It's just the way that I perceive it, that other people go nuts over. You know, they just love it. But man, this Mandarin Moon, which is in my club, absolute favorite. But I think Mandarin Moon is like September, October. I feel like this Sips of Cider is like super November. I feel like this Sips of Cider would be amazing with blackberry orange marmalade, which I do not have, but if you had it, I think they'd be great in different places. And then for me, this Sips of Cider, I think it's going to be amazing in alternate warmers with my brick of sweet orange pomander, because the sweet orange pomander is all spice, whereas this one is a lot of citrus with some spice on the back end, and you definitely get the ginger and the cinnamon, right? That's what, cardamom and cinnamon and ginger is supposed to be in here. And that's all there. So I will probably get another bar of this, and I will probably melt it in November and find that I love it in that season, because so many bars smell the best in a certain window of time where everything that's going on outside, the temperature, what else you've got going on in your home really, really affects performance and how you perceive a scent. So this one's good. I would say total on a scale of like 0 to 10, probably about a 7. So it's good. I will get more of it. All right, another one that we have here, which I found very interesting, is our new black currant and plum. Now this is a scent that I think should go in any welcome to Scentsy kind of a kit. Like, you have a customer that's never done Scentsy before. Someone said that it reminded them, and there it is, that it reminded them of black raspberry vanilla. Now, black raspberry vanilla is sweeter and warmer than your black currant and plum, but they're similar. The black currant and plum has a couple of base notes, which makes me love it. And those would be, let's see what we got here. Should have organized these better, right? Black currant and plum. Nope, it's the other one. Here we go. Tangerine, apple, blackberry, dark plum, currant, oakwood, suede, and ebony. It's the oakwood, suede, and ebony that makes me really like this, because it's deep and dark and yet gentle all at the same time. And it's got that nice, I don't want to say hard in the wrong way, but sort of a hard edge of deep woods, which I really like. So if you were a realtor and you had a very nice house that had a lot of dark wood trim and just really refined features, I think this would be something you could put in your warmers and people would associate the scent with the setting beautifully. It's very, very good. I used it in my basement. It's only like a medium though, it's not super strong. And I wanted to tell you, it's got lots of berry notes, so don't flip out like this is a perfect match. That if you like vanilla oud, there are some note similarities. This has all that fruit on top, but those deep, like oud, ebony wood notes are there. They're subtle. It's not as warm, like vanilla oud's got leather, suede, and vanilla on top of those deep dark woods. But this is the first bar in a very long time that I think Scentsy has produced that has some note similarities to vanilla oud, but with all the berries. So like if vanilla oud and black raspberry vanilla had a baby, but then you took the vanilla out of it. It's kind of what you get here. I'd say this is a very classy bar. I'd say this is a very crowd-pleasing bar, and it is really, really nice. So that is my thought with that. It's kind of like the berry notes in Aussie Plum, but Aussie Plum is definitely sweeter, and like there's no vanilla in it. That is the thing that none of the rest of these, they've all got vanilla. That one does not. And then it's kind of like boho. The flatness of boho, which is a beautiful smell, that's probably the most similar to the black currant and plum, but boho doesn't have any of that deep woods. So that is the best that I can do to help you to figure out what that one will smell like. I think it's really, really nice. Is it the most exciting bar in the group? No. Does it make me jump out of my seat like, oh, I want 10? No. But I think that one's going to be popular because it's consistent and should appeal to a lot of people. Okay, what do we have left here? I think we have my 3 faves left. So let me make sure. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, my 3 faves are left. So, falling apples. The most truly fall bar of the bunch. This one, I think people will love. Performance and scent appeal, like 9 or 10 out of 10. Wonderful throw. Wonderful scent profile. I absolutely adore this. Let me read the notes to you. Of course, they're always at the bottom. The one that I want is at the bottom. Apple, pear, lavender, warm spice, pine, acorn, cedarwood, sandalwood, and oak. Oh, this bar is so good. It is woodsy, it is appley, and it throws great. So if you love woodsy, you definitely have to try this. So what is it the most like? My director gave me a bar of Hemingway that will be featured in the literary melting basket for a character. Now, Hemingway is a cologne apple and spice scent. It's gorgeous. It's very classic to Scentsy. I wish they'd put it back in the catalog, honestly, because it's excellent. But the Falling Apples is woodsier, whereas this is more cologne, but there are similarities. In the coming catalog, we have an Orchard Apple and Spice, which is the one I can never remember. This is sweeter and lighter than the Falling Apples, but they do share that spice apple note, but more like a woody. Now, between the two, honestly, I love this bar. I loved it last year. If I had to choose, it would be so hard for me because the woodiness of this is fabulous. And it's the best woodsy apple I think we've ever made. But I don't know, I really like this bar too, very hard. And I wanted to give this shout out to our Cranberry Garland lovers. Cranberry Garland is discontinued. It was a shocker last year. People were very sad. And Cranberry Garland is November, December. It's definitely got sage, pine cones, and tree. But the depth is similar. They're not the same scent by any means. But if you mourn the loss of this because of the woodsy quality, your Falling Apples will fulfill the same depth of woodsiness. It's just more September, October in scent profile. But there is similarity in the type of scent that they have produced. I love this bar. I will probably order 2 or 3 of it when we can get our hands on it. So now, down to my last 2. I had the hardest time ranking these. Which one do I love more? Oh, it was so hard. But I think my number 2, and I mean these are like neck and neck. My number 2 is going to be Blackberry Spice. This is an amazing smell. Oh, it's such an amazing smell. It is warm, it is rich, it is resinous, it is all the things. It went for most of the day. That was my only disappointment, is it futzed out a little bit sooner than I thought. It is cedar, it is blackberry, it is spices, it is warmth, it is heaven almost. Not really, but it's so good. And what is it like? It is not like vanilla blackberry almost at all except for the cedar. That's the only thing they share. This is a totally different bar, so don't try to compare those. And it has all that woodsy depth, so it's not really even like Huckleberry either, because Huckleberry is a saturated scent that's mostly berry. And the Blackberry Spice is the perfect balance of spice and berries. It's the most like Cedar Cider, but a blackberry version. It's excellent, and I would definitely pair them in alternating warmers, and you would have the most wonderful, deep, woodsy, spicy thing going on in your house. It's so good. So that is what I think of that one. I'm going to order a good number of those over the course of this catalog season. It's phenomenal if you love warm, spicy scents. And I think that it would be very good starting, I would even melt it now, although it's definitely fall. So probably like late August, September, October, November. Beautiful scent. And if people like spice and woodsy, I would definitely gift that. If they don't like spice and woodsy, it might, as I said with the cold sniff pull, might be a turnoff because it's so strong. But it's only strong for a period of time. I don't know that it's even going to carry 24 hours. I'm going to have to melt it again, but I found that it definitely tapered off after about 10 or 12. Okay, and the grand finale is my frosted vanilla. Oh, this bar. So good. So good. It's everything Christmas. Everything you want for the wintertime. I love birch and Douglas fir, and they are here. There's spice, there's vanilla, there's peppermint. It's perfect. It's like a medium throw, maybe medium strong if you get the right number of cubes in the room. Phenomenal scent. So I cannot compare it directly to anything. It's not really like Polar Bear Hug, because that's much sweeter. It has some of that same tree note, a little bit as red berry and spruce, but you know, the berries, it's a totally different smell. But I think these would be very complementary, because the red berry and spruce has that like blue spruce iciness, and the Douglas fir and the other one is similar, and it's got a little bit of sleigh all day, but again, not that much. I think it's very much its own scent. It is amazing. And those are all the smells. Now, I forgot to read a couple of the cue cards to you, so let's see if I can find those. Oh boy. The blackberry spice is blackberry, blueberry, plum, cinnamon, clove, cedarwood, sandalwood, and musk. I got all of that. And did you blueberry, guys? I got the hints of blueberry. It was amazing. And then the frosted vanilla, frosty air, peppermint, Douglas fir, spice, vanilla bean, and sugar. I got it all. Amazing. Cannot wait for you guys to get your hands on these August 1st. I would love it if you don't have a consultant to order through my website. If you are my customer and you have any questions, please email me or leave me a comment down below. I will talk to you guys soon. Have an amazing day. God bless. Bye-bye.